name's Nehemiah, and welcome to Vevor Homestead. And today we're gonna build a cattle panel greenhouse.
What's up, guys? So in the description box of this video, I am going to have a full list of the wood that we use to build this cattle panel greenhouse in case you are interested. I will also have a link to this landscape fabric that I use from Vevor. It is a 3-foot by 300 foot, and I put them 4 pieces wide to make it, and I overlap them, so it is about 11 feet with the overlap, because my greenhouse is going to be 10 feet by 32 feet. I will also have a link to the greenhouse plastic that I use. It is also from Vevor. It is a 24 by 50 foot, and I showed you guys in a previous video where I had just got it delivered, and it's still sitting in the box, actually back there. And so I already laid down this landscape fabric yesterday. Now we're going to work on cutting our first pieces to build this greenhouse. Okay, so I'm going to show you what we've done so far. So we have our 2 side panels, and these are 16 feet boards. So these are 2 by 4 by 16, and then they're connected in the middle by this 4 by 4, and then we just took a 2 by 4 with 12 inches to go over to keep them from being loose. And then we did the same thing for this side. My girls are screwing in the last few nails. We are not professional builders. This is our first time building anything like this. My husband, it was his first time building a fence, so he did this with our neighbor's help. So I watched lots of videos on cattle panel greenhouses, and then decided which design I wanted. And I'm going to make some modifications from the video that I watched and kind of put some together, but we'll see what we come up with at the end. Right now we're going to add our 2 by 4 by 10s at the back to connect them. Let me show you. This will be the back of the greenhouse. Right now they're uneven, but we have our 2 by 4 by 10, and they're going to connect to bring these together, and I'll show that. Okay, so this is what it would look like standing up. There is a kind of like a high spot right here where there's tree roots, and so as you can see, we have a scrap piece of 2 by 4 holding that up, which we're probably going to have to add that to it to make it level with this side. Now it is time to attach the cattle panels. So we lifted the cattle panel over the wood, and we're going to use these fencing staples with a with a hammer to hammer them in to the top of this 2x4. So I tried not to hammer them in all the way, because now we're going to lift it from this side.
Why is he in the middle and not doing it?
Okay, so we have 7 out of 8 cattle panels up, and right now we are working on zip tying them together. We have these boards in the middle to hold them up because they were pushing out wide, and so you see my husband put a strap in the middle to pull them together, and we put these boards to hold them up, and now we're going to just zip tie all of the cattle panels together. So we're on the last cattle panel, and this is the 8th cattle panel, but we don't need the whole thing, so we're cutting off basically 3 squares. So I marked the middle of our 10-foot 1-inch board, so that's 5 foot and 0.5 of an inch. And then this board right here was an 8-foot board at 2x4, but we cut it down to 89 and a quarter inch. And now it is center. So we're going to take a nail and hammer it in at the top right there, and then screw it in here. Okay, now we are adding this piping cover over the cattle panels to protect the sharp edges. I want the front door to be 4 foot wide, so I marked it at 4 foot and I marked it at 7 foot, which gives us a 4 foot opening. And then I just took a permanent marker and marked where I want to cut. Okay, for the back, we just added a 2 by 4 by 8. This is exactly 8 foot. We did not cut it at all to go from here. And then we're going to use, this is a screen. And we're going to use this instead of a window. And then frame it in. So we have the screen, we stapled it on the front and the back, and now we're just going to take some 2x4s to frame it out and let it be flush. Okay, so we are finished, and now we need to add the plastic, which is the last step. So like I said, this is going to be a 24 by 50 foot greenhouse plastic that I got from Vevor. Let me turn you around. So I just opened it. We are going to unravel it and then slide it over the greenhouse. Okay guys, so we are basically done. My husband's going around and seeing if there's any places that need extra nails. The kids are cleaning up the extra plastic and extra materials that we use, but the plastic is on top. I cannot believe that we have a cattle panel greenhouse. So let's walk in there and see. So we cut off all the extra. It's so big in here. And so my thought was maybe putting raised beds on this side, 4 8-foot raised beds, 2 by 8-foot raised beds. Then on this side, I want to have a grow station. Last year when I started seeds inside my house with grow lights, and I may still do that for some things that are completely cold tolerant, and in the springtime when it's still getting pretty cold, need really warm weather like peppers. But for things like I'm starting in the springtime that can handle, you know, cooler weather, then I would start them out here. And then of course when it gets warmer, I can bring my seedlings out here as well. So this side would probably be just full of shelves and be a grow station. Remember that the links to where I got this greenhouse plastic as well as this landscape fabric will be in the description below, as well as the wood pieces that I use. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.